Of all the cities in Italy, Rome is my absolute favorite. And if I'm not busy eating spaghetti alla carbonara or bucatini alla matriciana, I'm running around visiting the various monuments of the city. So I thought that today we would count down my top 10 of Rome. My number 10 spot goes to Piazza Navona, the most celebrated piazza in all of Rome. How can you beat an ancient Roman stadium that was then reinvented in the 17th century under the reign of Pope Innocent X and under the direction of the great Gian Lorenzo Bernini, whose spectacular Four Rivers fountain sits directly in the center of the piazza. My number 9 spot goes to one of the most beautiful churches in the world, Santivo alla Sapienza. It was designed by the great Francesco Borromini and completely reinvented what architecture was in the 17th century. Borromini adding this element of sculpture and movement and this whitewash look to his buildings. My numero 8 goes to one of Michelangelo's most magnificent but overlooked sculptures, the Moses. It was carved for the tomb of Pope Julius II and then forgotten about when it was placed inside of the Church of St. Peter in Chains here in Rome. And in my modest opinion, Moses would wipe the floor with the David. My lucky 7 goes to another spectacular statue, Bernini's Ecstasy of St. Teresa. It depicts this divine encounter that a 16th century Carmelite nun had with an angel. Hard to believe that it's made of marble. And my number 6 spot goes to the world's most famous fountain, the Trevi Fountain. It was made in the 18th century, but became immortal when it was celebrated in movies like Three Coins in a Fountain, Roman Holiday, and of course, who can forget La Dolce Vita by the great Fellini.
Marcello, come here.
All right, so now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the bottom half of my top 10. And my number 5 spot goes to the Contarelli Chapel in the Church of San Luigi dei Francesi. Where else in the world can you see 3 paintings by the great Caravaggio in their original location or in situ? And whether it's the martyrdom of St. Matthew or the calling of St. Matthew or St. Matthew and the angel, all 3 of the paintings are equally spectacular. And my number 4 spot is going to surprise a lot of you. It's the Colosseum. Yes, isn't it the most spectacular of all the monuments? Yes. Isn't it the most visited of all the monuments? But at the same time, the Colosseum is just a skeleton of what it used to be. It was once the largest amphitheater in the world, and yes, hosted bloody gladiatorial contests. But for me personally, as spectacular as the Colosseum is, there are 3 other monuments that are even more impressive. Okay, so let's get down to my top 3. And the 3 spot goes to the Borghese Gallery. How can you compete with those spectacular statues by Bernini, like the Apollo and Daphne, the Pluto and Persephone? Or how about the 6 Caravaggio paintings in the Borghese Gallery? Or if you go upstairs, you can find the Raphael Entombment, the Titian Allegory of Sacred and Profane Love. You can actually see the Great Diana by Correggio. Folks, it's my favorite museum in all of Rome, and the Borghese Gallery takes my 3rd spot. My numero 2 goes to my favorite architectural monument in Rome, which is the Pantheon. Even its name is dramatic. Now, if you're not familiar with it, we're talking about an ancient Roman building that is covered by a concrete dome that spans a space of 142 feet. Folks, if you could find me something else like the Pantheon, then I would make it number 2. Drum roll, please. So what's my number 1? Well, I think you can figure it out from that view behind me. Yes, indeed, folks, the Vatican. And I mean the whole thing. Because how can you compete with the largest Christian church in the world, St. Peter's Basilica, with Michelangelo's Pietà and Bernini's Baldacchino inside? And then, of course, if you head over to the Vatican museums, then it's the pick of the litter. Whether it's the Sistine Chapel ceiling, the great Laocoon sculpture, the Caravaggio deposition, just to name a few. So folks, I know it's a tough choice, but for me, hands down, the number 1 monument in the Eternal City is Vatican City. So if you're in Rome, make sure to hit my top 10. And remember to like this video and to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rocky's Italy, so that you don't miss out on any of the great content that we're filming in Italy and publishing weekly.